All right, with first 3 weeks, the seeding weeks all wrapped up, we've got the divisional team set. We've got 6 total divisions. So let's jump right into it on how Above Par came up with the determinations of what these divisions were. So what we normally do is just take the first 3 weeks, and then we just take the average score to par you see here for the 3 weeks, and it just kind of lays out where everybody is in the divisions. You see some big discrepancies up here in Division 1. I'll get to that in just a second. We got something special planned for everybody in Division 1. So the way it worked out with 29 teams, we had 2 teams at the very top, the Long Necks and Pops and Putts. Super catchy, you guys were right there, but not just quite on the same level as these guys that are consistently super far under par, Long Necks and Pops and Putts. They were far and above, so we kind of separated them from the whole group and just held on for a second while we got to the rest of the scores. Everybody else is pretty close, all the way down until the very bottom, where we had the Wedding Crashers and the Beer Bellies. These guys doing their best, hanging in there as tough as they could, but we saw some low scores consistently, kind of lower than everybody else. So what we wanted to do was kind of also separate them into their own category. So we've got them separated, and after we separated the top 2 and the bottom 2, it made it very consistent for 5 divisions of 5 teams. So you had 5 people all the way, 5 teams all the way through 5 different divisions, making 6 total divisions. If we took out those other 4 teams for a second there. So we'll talk about that. Division 2, Super Cats, Bruisers, Chop, Shank and 4-Putt, and Sofa King Close, right there. King of the Castle. Division 3, Breton Rejects, the Rough Riders. Those guys, the Fortunate Ones, welcome back, and the Smash Bros. First-time league guys. They've been coming to Above Par for a long time. Glad they finally got into a league here. Division 4, Ham and Eggs, Teed Off Realtors, Lost in the Woods, Birdie Crushers, and the Hackers. That's going to be a great division. And then Division 5, we have the 19th Hole Pros, Hook and Slicers, So Bad It's Just Bad, 2 Balls, 1 Cup, and Dogs. All of those teams averaged 3 over par, so that was a perfect division right there. That should be a really good one. And then the last division, Division 6, thought this was Cornhole, Bogey Bunch, Where Did My Ball Go, Morno Storno, and Fairway to Heaven. All those guys were in that 6th division. They're going to be competing against each other. Their scores are really close. Again, we had the Wedding Crashers and Beer Bellies way down there at the bottom, and then Long Necks and Pops and Putts. So what we did was put them in their own division, those 4 teams. Sounds crazy. What Above Par? What are you doing? The best teams and the worst teams, they can't compete, right? They're not going to be competing against each other as far as the 4 teams. But what we got is the Long Necks and Pops and Putts will be competing against each other every week, just them. Whoever gets the lower score wins against them. Same thing for Wedding Crashers and Beer Bellies. Whoever gets the better score that week is going to get more points between them and the other team, the lower tier team. How do we decide who gets first place or second place or third? It's the margin of victory. So if the Long Necks and Pops and Putts play each other, and let's say the Long Necks win one week and they win by 3 strokes, and then Wedding Crashers beat the Beer Bellies, but only by 1 stroke, then the Long Necks will take the first place points, the Beer Bellies will get the second place points, and then down from there on who the lower margin of victory was. So Wedding Crashers would get 3, and Pops and Putts would get 4. That way they're getting points. They're competing against teams they should be competing against. But then there's other teams in the division that could throw a wrinkle in there and mess up the points or help the points. So we talked to all the teams. Everybody sounds like they're on board with this. It should be really fun. It lets the guys in the bottom compete against the guys at the top. The guys at the top have some bunkers out there that they got to play against to make sure you're playing good. So it'll keep everybody playing the best they can to make sure that margin of victory and that stroke is good. They don't know where the other 2 teams are going to be, even if they beat the team that's in they're competing against. So we think that division is going to be a lot of fun. Everybody else, you guys are just competing straight up against your other teams. You get first place, you get 5 points. Second place, 4 points. Third, 3, all the way down. So make sure you get your rounds in. We don't want to get 0 points out on the board there. So that's all your divisions. It's all online. You guys can check it all up, see where everybody filled out. If you got any questions about how we got to the divisionals, please let us know. Ask me or Sam when you come in. We're happy to explain it. But we think it's going to be a lot of fun and should have some awesome fireworks towards the end. We'll see you guys.